It was a quiet Thursday evening, nothing out of the ordinary. The hum of the TV filled the living room, and I was settling in with my usual cup of tea. My wife, Emily, had been upstairs for a while, which wasn't unusual since she often took her time unwinding after work. However, the tranquility of our home was shattered when the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone, so I assumed it was a delivery driver at the wrong address or a neighbor needing something. As I opened the door, I was met with a man in his mid-30s, casually dressed and visibly agitated. For a moment we just stood there, neither of us speaking. "Is Emily here?" he asked abruptly, his voice carrying a tone of urgency. I was taken aback. Why would a stranger be asking for my wife by her first name? My first thought was that he might be a coworker, someone with an emergency. "Yes, she's upstairs. Can I help you with something?" I replied cautiously. The man's expression darkened, and he let out a humorless chuckle. "So you don't know, huh?" A cold wave washed over me. "Don't know what?" My stomach churned as I tried to process his cryptic statement. "Know what?" I asked, my voice firmer now. "She didn't tell you about me, did she?" he said, his words laced with bitterness. Before I could respond, Emily appeared at the top of the stairs. Her face went pale the moment she saw him. "Ryan," she whispered, barely audible. Ryan, the name felt like a thunderclap in my mind. It wasn't a coworker, and it wasn't some innocent misunderstanding. Emily's reaction made that painfully clear. "Tell him, Emily," Ryan said, stepping into the house. I didn't stop him. I was too frozen, too confused. "Tell him who I am." Emily descended the stairs slowly, her eyes darting between me and Ryan, her hands trembling, and she couldn't meet my gaze. I can explain," she stammered. Ryan cut her off. "Explain what?" "That you've been lying to him for months? That you've been with me behind his back." My world came crashing down in an instant. The quiet life I thought we shared, the trust one had in her, it was all a lie. My voice cracked as I demanded, "Is this true, Emily?" She nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I never meant for you to find out like this." Ryan laughed bitterly. "Oh, so you plan to keep playing both sides, pretending to love him while sneaking around with me?" I couldn't take it anymore. I needed answers. I asked her why, how, when it started. Emily broke down, confessing that she met Ryan months ago at a work conference. It started as a flirtation, something she thought was harmless, but it quickly spiraled out of control. Ryan, however, wasn't here to make things right. He was angry that Emily had been lying to him too, claiming she was going to leave me, but never following through. "You told me you were done with this marriage," he shouted at her. Emily's excuses blurred in my mind. I felt numb, betrayed, and utterly humiliated. My trust, my love for her had been shattered into a million pieces. I turned to Ryan, who looked as though he regretted coming here at all. "You've said what you needed to, now leave," I told him, my voice steady despite the chaos in my chest. He hesitated, but eventually left, without another word. Emily tried to explain, to apologize, but I couldn't listen. The woman I thought I knew was a stranger. That night, I packed a bag and left the house that had been my sanctuary. Now, it felt like a prison of lies. The following weeks were a blur of anger, sadness, and reflection. I realized that her betrayal wasn't just about infidelity. It was about the destruction of trust and the life we had built together. I filed for divorce and began the painful process of rebuilding my life. Looking back, I've learned a lot about myself and the strength it takes to move on from something so devastating. While the pain hasn't completely gone away, I've come to understand that betrayal is not a reflection of my worth, but of the choices others make. The knock on the door that evening was the beginning of the end, but it also marked the start of a new chapter, one where I could finally prioritize my own happiness and peace.